This presentation on Equella is to show you how to clone an existing Equella resource or item so that it can be used as a framework for a new item that you are creating, much like creating a template. We do this to save time, as it reduces the need for us to add or repeat resource information that's in common with a resource that already exists. Before I show you the cloning process, it's important to point out the significance of choosing good names and descriptors when you're creating a Equella resource. You'll see there are two examples on the screen here. The first one is just called Worksheet 2, and that's very generic and makes it hard to find an item, and you often forget that that's what you called it. It has also a very short descriptor, so it doesn't give me much of an opportunity to then find it, particularly when the name is repeated in the descriptor with so few other words. Down here we have another item that's used the unit code and name, but it also has a much bigger description with lots of other words in it that I could search on to particularly find that item. So because Equella searches very much like Google, that is a free text search, the more words you use that are unique to that item, the more likely you are to find it each and every time. To demonstrate this, it's very easy to do. So I know that we set some items up with the Wagga Electrotechnology department, and we did those by cloning an item each time and then varying the variable in the item, so the generic information stayed the same each time. If I search on electrotechnology, that will bring up the items, but it brings me up items that I don't necessarily want in the search related to the units of competency that we created. And it also brings up electrotechnology items that probably belong to other institutes. So if we add Riverina to the search, I know that that was used in the descriptor. And you'll see that when that search returns that we've got Riverina and electrotechnology this time, so you can see Equella is highlighting the search terms as it finds them. However, I still can't see the list of all the units. There's one of them. So if I add one more term to this, and that is RI Learn, which we also added to the descriptor, you can see that now the search is looking a little different. We're getting all the units of competency that were created for this particular diploma in electrotechnology. These Equella resources are all the same, and they only vary by the unit name and code because they were basically created in a similar framework. So if I go back to doing a contribution, I just have that window open here. When you are contributing an item for the first time, you have to complete the name and the descriptor, and that's a time-consuming process time after time if you're repeating the same information. So this is where we use cloning. So if I come back to that search and I now select an item down here to clone, I click and enter that item, and then on the right hand side under actions, because I have ownership on the item, I can now clone the item into the collection. So what this will do is make a copy of this item. It doesn't harm the original. And by selecting clone without attachments, it means I'm now free to add the attachments that are pertinent to that particular unit of competency that I'm doing, the new one, rather than the old one. So now if I click clone, what has now happened is Equella has made a clone of the existing item. It's put in all the information from that item, and all I need to do now is just change the specifics that are for this particular item or resource. So I can change the name and I can change the details just in here and update it for this particular resource, and then I can add my attachments and save.